Good morning. I am discussing about the group discussion. I concluded the last discussion saying that there should be somebody who is concluding it. Basically what happens is, I give an example of a bureaucrat, okay, the leader, administrative bureaucrat. He takes the decision. So basically he is the leader. So in the group discussion, what people are looking for is that what is your leadership quality. Now this I will discuss now in terms of leadership quality. Leadership quality will be reflected through the entire process of group discussion. Then finally again there will be interview and there will be a lot of questions in terms of judgment of your leadership quality. But here most of the cases leadership quality is judged during the group discussion. An interview is conducted essentially to see what your intrinsic skills are. Now in the leadership quality, what is likely to be assessed, I am trying to give an idea in terms of like say how you should manifest. Adopt roles natural to yourself to reflect your good leadership quality. Don't try to emulate somebody, don't try to copy somebody. Even if you find that somebody is a better personality than you don't try to emulate that personality, because personality is an intrinsic quality which you earn through a long practices. Overnight you just don't pick up the kind of styles or personality of others. And quite often I have found that some people who speaks English but speaks an English emulating some other people, like an Indian speaking English in American style, not being in America, is basically an emulation which makes the person very funny sounding. Okay? So here I would first suggest that adopt roles which is natural to yourself, because your intrinsic qualities will be reflected through not simply by how you speak, also there are many other things which will come. Once you be natural to yourself, then you will find that your leadership role will emerge. At the same time, your personality, your experiences, your manifestations, your body language, your communication skills, your people skill, your specialized skill, all these will bring a situation where your leadership role will emerge and you will be watched, okay, and you will be noted. Most often it is found that the maximum talker are the poor leaders, but again I clarified, the political leaders whose job is to speak to a mob. So if a political leader who is trying to influence a mob or large mass of people for his party's ideology or his personal ideology, then if he is a less talker, it does not communicate. So this cannot be equated with this here. This is a kind of situation where the group is small, they are educated, they are informed, they are knowledgeable, okay, and you are tending to be the leader where you are trying to communicate your viewpoints to them. At that point of time, if you talk much, then it leads to reflection of your poor leadership. I said be brief, that means short discussion. Be lucid, that means very easily communicable. To the point means you are focused to the point which you are trying to communicate. That was my last thing that I discussed in the last lecture. So you don't need to speak much. In the group discussion also you don't need to speak much to show that you are the leader. In fact, I will tell you, during this group discussion, if somebody is seen that he is trying to grab the attention of everybody and grab the opportunity for himself to speak much, automatically he earns lesser marks. It doesn't become 0 because he has good skill, but the thing is automatically his score reduces. So maximum talker generally are considered to be poor leaders. There is another thing called speak first syndrome. You remember I said that when a topic is floated on the house for group discussion to begin, at that point of time, unless somebody coaxes a person, the evaluator coaxes a person and says pinpointedly, can you start the discussion? Then unless that, the situation is that they would like to see who is the first person who wants to speak. Now it is a good thing that if you can be a first speaker, but if you have a syndrome of speaking first, then it is negative. what is that syndrome? The syndrome is me first, me first. It's something like, if suppose the evaluator says, who wants to speak first? You'll find some fingers will be up. It's good, it's volunteering, it's positive. But for every discussion, every kind of discussion, if you find the same person is raising his finger, that means he is suffering from the speak first syndrome, which is negative. Speak first syndrome means don't give opportunity to others and try to pose that he is the Mr. Know-all. So it is negative. So leadership quality does not come with the idea of speaking first. Okay. What is very important in terms of leaders' qualities? That listen to others. Have patience to listen to others. Listen to others only up to the extent that you should be giving your right time. It may so happen, again, see, whenever I am saying something that this is good, I will also try to give you a picture of what is negative. Always give opportunity to somebody to speak and listen to him very carefully. Two advantages there. One is you are giving him an opportunity to speak, so you are being polite and sober, number one. Number two is you are first listening to his points. And then you, at the same time when you are listening, you are also framing your own points. So whatever points you have framed before, now we can always make a little bit of adjustments to your points depending on what he is saying. If he is saying something right, then pick that particular lead. If he is saying something wrong, then make your points ready for contesting it. That means you buy time. So by listening, I said earlier also, by listening, not only you hear what others have to say first to make yourself ready to say next, at the same time you are buying time to think about what you are likely to say. Okay? So listen to others. Listening to others is a good leadership quality. Another thing is ensuring others to speak. What is this? In a group, the leader identifies that somebody is not speaking, or somebody is not getting an opportunity to speak because others are speaking, and somehow in course of discussion is found that that he is not being able to take a start, then ensure that he speaks. In such cases, quite often this is done like, gentlemen, fine, we have heard everybody, I haven't heard anything from that gentleman. Would you please say if you have any points to raise? This is ensure that he is speaking. That's a good leadership quality. Now here during group discussion, it's not the role of the evaluator. An evaluator can do that only if he finds that there is no such persons in the group who can ensure the other person who has not spoken, ensure that he speaks. And if he finds that amongst the group there is somebody who has spoken, maybe enough, also participated voluntarily, doing everything rightfully, and then finally he finds that one person did not speak, then he can also say, gentlemen, dear friends, we have spoken, we have heard each other's viewpoints, but unfortunately we haven't heard anything from him. Can we request him to say something? This is how the whole group discussion goes on. Okay, it's a strong leadership quality. Well composed means the leader in the group discussion, the potential leaders are well composed. They never dominate over others, they never push others, they never ridicule others, they never humiliate others. They become so good friend, well composed, that they know what they know what they want to say, and they have said what they wanted to say. But it's a composure which gives a reflection to the evaluator that this person made his point rightly. At the same time, he is seeing that he is not disturbing the whole set. Quite often the entire group discussion can be scuttled. There are one or two persons in a group might be there that who can scuttle the whole group discussion and brings in such kind of points that ultimately leads to nothing. That means it is scuttled. Basically, the group discussion should lead to a very, very concrete discussions. Maintaining emotional health of group in case of disagreement. This is one of the very strong point in the GD, and that can reflect your leadership. All these points that I am saying is, when you will read it over and over again, you are now listening to me. When you read it over and over again, you try to make an image of it. Make an image of a group discussion as if a group discussion is going on, a GD is going on, and then you role play the way I have suggested, and you will see the positives in it. Maintaining emotional health of group in case of disagreement is a very strong thing, is a very strong point which reflects a good leadership quality. What happens is, whenever there is a point, everybody does not necessarily will speak the same language, the same speed, same pace, same good English, same good good logics, maybe sometimes not even right points. That may lead to a kind of commotions or conflicts among the members. That may lead to sarcasm, that may lead to ridiculing or humiliation of some, that may lead to dominating by some. So this, when these things keep on going on, then the whole group discussions in health now gets disturbed. Okay, now because it is resulting out of the disagreement. When there is a disagreement, you will find that the volume will keep on rising. The decibel level of that particular discussion will keep on rising. Okay, now this, because it is a disagreement, and somebody who is trying to put a point forward, others are not ready to listen, and again it's back and forth which will go on, it's a contest which will go on. That is not healthy for a group discussion. In such cases, somebody who is trying to maintain the emotional health of everybody, or every individual trying to maintain the emotional health of the entire group discussion through this contesting, is a strong point. Another thing is, a good leadership quality is you offer alternatives. You offer alternatives and solutions to differences. If there are differences, yes, there could be. And in fact, always it is better if suppose one point raised or multiple point raised, and then it is being, there are oblique points which are coming forward. There is no harm. That is good. And when these things come forward, your discussion starts taking a healthy direction. And here, if you find that there are disagreements, then let there be some identification of some alternatives or solutions for this disagreement. If you are participating in this and you find that you could be doing this, then you can always take it for granted that you are being judged positively. Okay. Now, so naturally this thing brings into some points which are like do's and don'ts. I'll be very briefly highlighting each one of those points. But friends, I am suggesting that all the points I am discussing, you look at the headings, headlines like leadership quality, and try to see all the points that I have discussed just now under this domain, and try to practice. So, quick tips on do's and don'ts. If you see, I have discussed about the structure, I have discussed about the guideline, I have discussed about the leadership quality. So, I have said many points which will be repeated here to a certain extent, because I have to draw some references to this. Okay. So, when I will go for these do's and don'ts, and then I will also give you a clue that what are the demerits in a candidate when he is participating in a group discussion, that will be identified as, and what are the positive points which will be discussed. Okay. Now, do's and don'ts under this, very categorically I am saying, do's, be aware of world scenario, current affairs and social issues when you are going to go for GD. Group discussion is essential to see how strong you are emotionally, how strong you are communication wise, how strong you are in terms of your special skill, how strong you are in your social skill, your people skill, how strong you are in your body language. Group discussion, I said earlier, the group discussion is not to assess your actual hard skills. Hard skills will be assessed during the interview. Okay. So, here the topic can be of any kind. Suppose you are being selected as a chief engineer of a position. You may be asked about something which has nothing to do with engineering. There may be a very strong social issues. Essentially, you are being judged with respect to how are you concerned or conscious about the current scenario, the world scenario, the social scenario, the economic scenario. It is necessary, because if you want to be a leader, if you want to be guiding many people, all these issues will come in. And not only that, if you are being selected as a chief engineer, then you are also likely to come into a situation where social aspects, current affairs, economic aspects, everything is going to play a role. The whole world's scenario is going to affect your business, your operations, your marketing, your production. So this is the kind of things which are generally brought in the group discussion. It's just like in schools you had been learning or exercising essay writing. Many of the topics which you have selected or you have been given to write an essay on, you might not have ever might not be encountering in your life in future. But the thing is, it is essential to see how good you are in writing, how good you are writing points sequentially, how good you are concerned and knowledgeable about the affairs around you. That is the assessment. So the first two is be aware of the world scenario and current affairs and the social issues. Then wait for your turn. In the whole GD, wait for your turn. You don't have to haste, don't have to hurry. Okay. The first speaker syndrome, I said, is basically he is in a hurry to put his point forward and get noticed. Don't hurry, you don't have to. Wait for your turn. And if you find that your turn is not coming, then in that case you grab your turn. Okay. So some do's and some don'ts you try to follow. Be polite throughout, be polite. You don't have to really dominate others. Politeness is one of the strengths any leader will have. And if you are polite, people will listen to you. They will take your instructions and follow. If you are impolite, even if you are right, your instructions will be half taken. So be polite. So naturally the opposite is don't be aggressive. During the GD, you don't think that if you are aggressively putting your point forwards, people will succumb to it and then they will accept your point. No. No, because here everybody is your competitor and they will also become doubly aggressive to you to cut you down and prove that what you are saying is rubbish. Okay. But at the same time, if you be polite and put your point forward, you will also get a reaction of politeness. You will also be contested. Your points will be cut with a politeness and which you deserve. Because basically what happens is amongst the group, everybody has self-respect, which I said earlier. I mentioned this earlier. Everybody has a self-respect and the self-respect should not be hit by anybody. Aggressiveness generally hits the self-respect of every individual. So even if somebody is wrong, give a polite smile and prove him wrong. He will very happily accept it that he was wrong. Okay. Then show your confidence. Don't read the next line first, the red one. Show your confidence the first thing. Do what is show your confidence to the people. In the group, your confidence should be reflected. People should see that you are very, very confident in whether speaking first or whether carrying the point forward or the way you are placing your points. Show your confidence. Never be shaky. Never something like, I'll give an example. Never say that, yes, I want to say this, actually, I have a feeling this is something like this. No. These are showing your lack of confidence. You should be very distinct and straightforward, saying, I feel these are the things based on these facts and figures. As far as I have learned from various sources, this is what is the reality and this is the situation. You are putting it very upfront without any confusion. And something if you don't know, you say that, okay, the other facts I don't know. Since I don't know, I don't want to comment on that. That's also confidence. But somebody who is trying to bluff, who is trying to lie, who is trying to impress others with something, immediately will be caught that you are not really knowledgeable. So your confidence should be there. That's why I said not overconfidence. Show your confidence. If you show overconfidence, you are likely to falter. You are likely to make false moves. You are likely to make false statements. So don't be overconfident. Be confident. Be a creative thinker in the GD. GD is such a game within the 30 minute to 60 minute duration is such a game that the topic is told impromptu. Okay, it's just like impromptu extempo debates. The topic is given just 10 minutes before and you get only 10 minutes time to prepare. Here also you will be given some time to prepare, maybe 5 minutes, not more than that. Or it may so happen that you will not be given 5 minutes. You are just told this is the topic. Now I would like to see that who starts, but now it is the house. Whoever wants to volunteer to start it. you will find that there will be a gap of about 1 minute, because everybody is trying to configure the points on that particular topic. And there, if you find that within few seconds one person raises his finger and starts speaking, then you definitely can make out that he is a person suffering from the first speaker syndrome. And now if you listen to his points, you might find that all the points he has said, some of them are right, but many of them are wrong. And the smart people don't really start smart. They always try to remain cool, calm and quiet, and then watch if there is anybody who is starting first. Because if the person is starting first, he will take few minutes, and that is the minute he is going to buy for himself to prepare his own points. So the first speaker syndrome, in my opinion, is generally a negative one. Okay. So be creative thinker whenever you are working on the topic. Be creative. Don't just follow what you have read in the newspaper, and don't just deliver a run of the mill kind of points. Be creative in it. Even if you have taken the facts and figures from the newspaper or from the media, be creative, innovative in putting your points in your own way. Okay. Also, you try to see one thing. Since the GD is for your recruitment, a company is trying to assess you. Whenever you are saying all those points, try to project something like, what is your usefulness to the company. In this particular slide, don't misinterpret all the reds as negative. No, I am making a very clear statement on this. Something which is written in the red not necessarily is negative. I have only divided the color just for your catching your attention. Okay. So here in this, be a creative thinker and try to find out the usefulness to the company, and then when you are putting a point forward, and do it in such subtlety that the company understands that you are likely to be useful to the company. That adds. And then express your target for future. As much possible through your discussion, express your target for future, and don't say that if I am selected, then this can be done in the company. You can always say, if a topic which may bring benefit or some kind of conflicts to the company, you can always put your point forward in such a manner that how does it benefit, highlight such points. And if you think that that particular topic is such that which can also be given some examples with respect to relevance to the company, then you try it. Okay, because you are there essentially to be recruited by the company. So all your discussions, all your focus of attentions should be almost around the company, and also have a plan that what's your plan for the 5 year down the line. This will be a very common question asked in the interview. How do you see yourself 5 years down the line? That means after 5 years, where do you want to see yourself? Not necessarily in this company where you are giving the interview for. It is basically they are trying to see that how are you creatively thinking about the future. That means it's not only how good you are performing today, how do you want to perform, or how do you perceive to perform in the next coming years, 5 years. Sometimes people ask a little longer duration. How do you want to see yourself 5 years down the line and then 10 years down the line? Quite often many people have answered that 5 years down the line I would like to be the director of this company. 10 years down the line I would like to be the chairman of this company. I have heard this kind of situation. Good, no problem. But the thing is, during the GD, if suppose it is found that he doesn't have the leadership quality, so his dream may be 5 years down the line he wants to be the director, and then 10 years down the line he wants to be the chairman. But during the GD, the evaluator has identified that he is very aggressive, he doesn't allow anybody to speak, he doesn't have the leadership quality, and his points are not very positive, and he is not very confident about what he is saying, he is not knowledgeable about any of the current affairs. So even if 5 years down the line he dreams to be a director, he is absolutely cut out of this particular selection process. This is how the whole process goes on, Then there are certain things which will create negative impressions. Okay? I am highlighting some points which are going to create negative impressions, and then I will highlight some points which will create the positive impressions. Here, the negative impressions. If you are argumentative during the group discussion, it is negative. You are trying to put your point forward is one thing, but always trying to create an argument against anything that somebody is saying is negative. Cross-talking. is negative. What is this cross talking? It is found in the group discussion. Suppose one person is speaking, others are listening. The people who have already spoken, now they have nothing much to do because they have spoken their words. All right. It is found quite some time that two persons sitting side by side, they have a crosstalk. They just bring their heads together and then whisper one to each other. This is what is cross-talking. It simply gives a clear indication that if they are involved in the pairwise discussion, then both of them are not focusing on the discussion which is being continuing now. This is very negative. Cross-talking, whether it's in a class, whether it's in a workshop, whether it's in a conference, whether it's in a group discussion, is very, very negative. Extra body gesture. What is it? See, whenever you are speaking, you will find that your hands will move, your torso will move, your head will move, your eyes will move, your lips will move. The whole thing will move. It is quite natural that expression never comes from a stone statue. Means you are being absolutely like a stone statue and speaking. That's not normal, that's not natural. It will be there. But what is not desirable is extra gestures. Say you are using your hand, but every time you are using your hand and you are trying to say, you are pinpointing and it's moving, not required. And if you want to see, there are certain things which are courtesy wise is very important. You are trying to say that what that gentleman has said, and if you do it like this, that what that gentleman has said, pointing a finger, a thumb to him, is very, very uncourteous. It is extra. If you say that what that gentleman has said is very courteous, but if you speak to others and point your finger to others saying what that gentleman has said and what that gentleman said is very, very uncourteous, I'll tell you, in terms of your quality, this will be treated as very strongly negative. So your body gesture, extra body gesture, is not at all desirable. Some people, while speaking, you'll find when they are speaking, they'll be continuously doing this kind of swaying back and forth movement, or they'll be having continuously moving their heads around to when they are speaking. These are extra body gestures, very negative, should not be there. Interruption and interjection is another negative. If suppose you have the habit of interjecting or interrupting others when they are speaking, is very, very negative. When you should interject, let me give you a clue. If somebody is speaking in a flow, don't interject. If it takes a little longer pause, then you interject. There are many ways of interjection. I will come to that point, but this interruption or interjection, frequent interruption, interjection from your end is negative. Okay, because the discussion has to go on. Allow him to speak, and if you find that he is repeating a sentence, at that point you can interject. See, if somebody is repeating, because everybody wants to grab the time for speaking, and at that point of time, if you find that one person has said something and then again he says, as I said, he repeats the last sentence, and then again he said, I have already said, repeating the sentence. That means he is now repeating the same issue 3 times just to kill that time and take the time away. In such cases you can interject, you can interrupt, but otherwise a standard habit of interjecting or interruption is negative. Overtaking others, this is another very negative thing. See, it's just like traffic rule. Everybody has a channel to move, drive their cars in. Everybody has a chance to drive their cars through the channel. Okay? Now, there are some who are in a hurry. They would like to overtake. And on the road, if everybody is moving, then overtaking has certain rules. And there are certain stretches, divider lines, where only you can take over. In the group discussion, never have a habit of overtaking others. Wait for your turn, I said. Wait for your turn. And for waiting for your turn does not mean that you wait for your turn eternally and give everybody else the power to speak or the opportunity to speak and you don't speak. That's not waiting for your turn. You intelligently find out what is the right moment when you should speak. Say something like this, You have allowed the first speaker to speak. The second speaker is speaking. And then if you think that it will come sequentially one after another, that's a different thing. And if it is decided, it's a different thing. Otherwise, if you think that this is the right moment when I should speak, then you pick up your lead. From there, by some body gestures, you draw attention of the group and then start speaking. But that does not mean that you are overtaking others. Overtaking others is like, say, when somebody just about to start and then you start your sentence and continue. That is negative. It happens quite often. And if the other person who started and then found that you are not stopping, then he will be politely stopping. Okay, please continue. I'll tell you that goes into his positive and your negative. So never overtake during discussion. You can always say something like, may I speak? You can always raise your finger, drawing attention. You can always say that, raise your hand that you want to speak. But the moment you found that somebody has started and immediately you also start because you want to be the one before him, and you saw that he has started, only few words uttered and you continue, that's negative. Then quietness is also negative. You cannot remain quiet. I say the leaders will speak less. I never say the leaders will be mum. I never say the leaders will be quiet. Yes, the leader, if he is listening to others, he has to be quiet. There are also some leaders who always, whenever somebody is speaking, he also keeps on speaking, trying to prove that what you are saying I already know. And there are such people who always say, I know. That's negative. So as I am saying that overtaking is bad, the same time I am saying quietness is also bad. That you don't remain quiet. If you remain quiet, then, and if you are asked by the evaluator that, okay, you haven't spoken anything, please speak, you can take it for granted that you have been treated already as negative. Your score for your volunteering to speak has already earned low score. So don't be quiet. I will discuss about the rest of the points in my next lecture. So here the situation is what? You want to be a leader. I have given you some clues in terms of do's and don'ts, and I am giving you the clues in terms of what is negative. Maybe some more points in terms of negative or positive will come forward. I will again suggest that go through these points in detail. Okay? Configure yourself the situation which I have tried to express. Very deliberately, with reasons, I am not citing any examples, because there are many people who suffer from these kind of negatives. I don't want to hurt anybody, neither I want to create any malice. So I am not really drawing any attention to any specific examples, but whatever I am trying to show you, I am trying to show you through my individual enactment, so that you understand exactly what I am trying to hint at. So dear friends, you go through it in detail and you will understand the utility of this discussion. Thank you.